Welcome to the Coffee Break Live. We are breaking ground. I'm super excited that you have taken this time to give yourself a little 20-minute break that can change your day. So the purpose of breaking ground, the coffee break, is to give you a well-intentioned break, focus on your wellness, connect with other people, and to, just disconnect from your day-to-day tasks, the things that we're doing with stay at home and all of those things. So welcome. Thank you for joining. I'm so excited to see all of the participants today. And
Hello.
hi, Taylor, just make sure we're muting everybody as they enter. Please. So I want to start off by having you all write in the chat what you look forward to when you take a break. It doesn't have to be this break, but what you look forward to when you take a break from work, from stress, from family, from whatever. What are you looking forward to? For me, I'm looking forward to a peace of mind. I'm looking forward to being able to just breathe and disconnect from, the regular hustle and bustle of my day and all of the talking that I do in counseling and all of those things. So let's write in the chat what you look forward to during your day. Dina shared gardening, diffusing essential oil, and reading. Shekinah, hey girls, shared watching TV and playing this cooking game on my phone. Honestly, Shekinah, if it's the same cooking game that got me caught up the other day, I understand 100%. While under the covers and my son is in another room, Paris looks forward to her brain break. Neil looks forward to quiet. Oh, I love it. And like I said, I look forward to the opportunity to be able to breathe, which is super, super important in, just staying grounded and focused. Taylor likes to look forward to her 2-mile walk, which you have been pretty consistent in. So I hope you get it in today to get your day kickstarted. I love it. Julian, if you want to write in the chat what you look forward to, I can't wait to hear more what you look forward to when you take a break. So I feel like it's important that we take a step back and have regular conversations about how to create and maintain a self-care routine. And if Julian's being honest, she shared that she looks forward to a blunt when she is taking a break. And sometimes if that is your vice, then that is what you need and that is what you do. So whatever works for you to get your break, get your moment, it's just constantly reminding ourselves what works for us, what we look forward to, right? So I wanted to talk about self-care again today because it's something that it's a practice and we need to be repetitive in making sure that it's happening. We just had a holiday, which could have brought up a number of feelings, whether you were able to go see your family, whether you're missing your family, whether you were able to connect and feel celebrated, whichever. It's time to bring it back to the self-care and what you are doing to focus and ground yourself in your wellness. So one thing's for sure, all of us who are in this space right now are recognizing the importance of self-care in our own wellness. If you weren't, you wouldn't be here today. And even if you don't feel like you do focus enough on your self-care and wellness, this is at least one of many steps that you can take towards it, right? So the thing about self-care is it can start to feel routine. It can start to feel monotonous, especially if you're doing the same thing every day for your self-care. For instance, some people, and it's not a bad thing, some people do journaling, some people do their walk for their self-care, for their break. But what are you doing to kind of throw the wrench into your self-care routine and make it work and flow for you? So the key is to make sure that it's not too rigid and make sure that you have the time to unwind. So the things that you wrote in this chat that you look forward to for your break, tell me a little bit about what you do for your self-care. If you want to speak out and share, please feel free to do that. But let's drop it in the chat and then we'll start off like that. So something that I like to do for my self-care is just lay in the bed and stare at the ceiling and clear my brain for a little bit and then meditate. But it's that time before I start a meditation that I'm really just like all right, I'm here, I'm present, nothing is happening yet. Aiden hasn't come to run in my room yet. It's peace and quiet. So what are some things that you do to start off your self-care routine? And today I'm drinking Cafe Bustelo and my lemon and mint water. That is how I'm bringing balance to the caffeine that I'm consuming today. And I'm just going to say, thank God that Taylor had the hosting capabilities, because what we need to realize is that our technology is not always on our side. So Shekinah, the question was, what do you do for your self-care routine? Taylor shared, I have my tea in the morning and write my must-dos in the planner. Paris reads her daily devotional. Dina meditates, showers with infused essential oils. I like that. And I think that's something that's very much overlooked, because a lot of people look to put the essential oil in the bathtub, which is fine. But just putting it on the floor of the bath or even diffusing in the bathroom helps to have those oils just take over the space. A good plant-based meal and a nice cup of tea. I really love that. Thank you all for sharing, and shout out to Rashawn for making it. I love it. Autumn, I see you all. Paris has a cup of tea also. So one thing that I do in addition to that, and I love that we're all sharing because it gives more ideas on how to navigate self-care and navigate our routines, is I start my morning off with this size mason jar and literally chug it, wake my body up, give myself the nourishment and the flow to get my day started before I consume my tea. So for me, it looks like water, tea, then my juice, which is fresh greens and amongst other things and fruits. And then I started having coffee midday, which has carried me to get whatever afternoon work that I need to get done, completed, done. Oh goodness, guys. So how do we create a self-care routine that sticks, right? So there are 5 things that I like to, as like the buckets, to make sure that you have a routine that sticks and works for you. One of those, the number one, is doing things that you actually enjoy. It's very hard to get a routine going and flowing if you don't like what you are doing. So making sure that when you're creating your routine, you are doing things that you like to do. If you don't like yoga, don't add it to your routine. It's going to make it hard for you to engage in your self-care. Find something that works for you and consider what makes you feel energized and full. That's the thing that you need to do. So if it's reading your devotional every morning like Paris does, if that's something that is fulfilling to you, you want to add that to your routine and make it, right? Also considering doing activities that take a short period of time, something that's less than 10 minutes. 10 to 15 minutes is a really good time frame to really kick some self-care into gear, which is why we have the coffee break for 20 minutes. It gives us time to get in here, chat a little bit freely, get to it, connect, and then get out and get back to the rest of our day, right? So number one is doing things that you actually enjoy. 2, getting back to the basics. I woke up my child, y'all. I'm sorry. So think about basic life. You're eating, you're sleeping, you're drinking water. We live busy lifestyles that sometimes pushes things to the sidelines, right? And it's hard sometimes to make things top priority each day. So making sure that you have a solid sleep routine, a solid eating routine, and that you're eating whatever number of meals makes you feel whole and fulfilled is very good. And you know, sometimes we got to go with what's unexpected, right? So that means that if we make sure that we're carrying on the basics of things, then we are able to hold on to what is self-care and wellness. So back to the basics: eating, sleeping, and drinking water. If you have that at the mist or the foundation of your routine, that is something that will help you out. Go downstairs and get your snack, okay? No. Okay, so chill out. Focusing on the present is number 3. I can't even see my notes, Aiden. My goodness. So with today's technology, right? Just like you saw, I got kicked out. The internet wasn't being my friend and it booted me from the meeting. It's easy to get caught up in, what's going wrong, the technological issues you're having, and even on the flip side, social media takes you out of the present a little bit because you're constantly trying to capture a photo, constantly trying to record a moment, and you're missing out on it. So if you're focusing on the present and doing something that you enjoy, you should take each and every opportunity to make sure that you're present in that space and like being there and engaged in it, right? One of the best ways to do that is by being mindful. Putting it simply, being mindful is paying particular close attention to what is happening, where you are and in that moment, and learning to take pleasure in those activities related to self-care. So if you are, a great self-care practice is while I'm making my coffee, because it is Cafe Bustelo for me, the one that I get is instant, sitting and pressing the kettle to boil, because I use an electric one, listening to the water actually bubble up. Shekinah, I love it too. I'm not gonna say I'm addicted to Cafe Bustelo, but I love the taste, especially with my oat milk, and it is everything. So I watch the water boil, or I listen for it to boil, and I really just hone in and focus on the bubbling sound that the boiling water makes in the kettle, right? This is a mindful moment that we're talking about. And then as I'm pouring the hot water into my mug, I'm listening and watching, because I don't want it to spill over, watching that water hit the mug and see the steam rise. Then I'm mixing in my instant coffee and smelling how it changes and lifts to the room, right? And after that, I'm pouring in my oat milk and adding a little bit of sugar because it can be a little bit bitter, and really lifting the cup to my nose to smell the scent. We can do another mindful coffee practice later this week, or mindful tea practice. So I'm gonna make sure that all of you have your coffee and tea ready, or whatever beverage. It could be a smoothie, it could be water, and we'll practice a little mindfulness while sipping something. But instead of stressing over the things that you have to do after you make that coffee, like I could have been thinking about, okay, I have to sign on. I hope the internet works correctly. I hope that everything works in my favor right now. Of course, we expect the unexpected. Instead, I stayed in that moment and focused on making the cup in the mindfulness that was playing into it. Number 4, you want to maximize on your free time. They say the early bird catches the worm, and it definitely applies here. So even if it means starting your day off a little bit earlier, waking up a little bit earlier to make sure that you get that moment in time to have to yourself, do it. It's gonna work off a little bit better in the end for you anyway. So practicing self-care activities in the morning when nobody else is up gives you a huge sense of peace that just carries over in the rest of your day. And then lastly, you want to hold yourself accountable. So you have to put your mask on first. It's a common analogy that is used to describe self-care. And if we are going to take care of other people, we have to make sure that we are doing that for ourselves. So making sure that you're not pouring from an empty cup, making sure that you are holding yourself accountable and finding someone else who will hold you accountable to care for yourself, even if it's me sending 3 emails in one day to make sure that you guys get here, or the text message reminders to say, hey, it's 1 o'clock, time for you to sign on. You have to figure out what works for you to keep yourself accountable in your self-care routine. So if we're making it sticky, 1 through 5, it's doing things you enjoy, getting back to the basics, focusing on the present, yes, maximizing on your free time, and holding yourself accountable. So Rashawn shared that accountability is important. What are some ways, and I'd love to hear some of you speak out so I can address my child, but what are some ways that you hold yourself accountable to your self-care routine, and what are some ways that you can grow more?
I'll go. recently, since being in quarantine, have like regular check-ins with a cousin and a friend of mine to hold me accountable to some of my routines. And then I started to create a space for myself that kind of fosters the environment where I can, you know, be more accountable, like getting a desk, putting that together, putting things up that'll help me stay organized, using a combination of hanging things and writing things down. So that's been super helpful so that I can have my goals and priorities like in front of me. Because sometimes with this quarantine, I felt like I've just been going through the motions of like day by day. So yeah, having things in front of me and visible has been helpful on top of the actual check-ins with people.
I really love that you said that, Rashawn, because and that's why we're talking about self-care again and how to make sure you're maintaining your routine, because it's easy for us to get stuck into the day-to-day, the hour to hour, minute by minute that we are going through each and every aspect of this. 1 o'clock sneaks up on me every day, y'all. Like when I say every day, I'm like, oh shoot, it's 12:45. I'm not ready yet. And I have to just get it together. So I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Jay, I know you wanted to share.
Hi, y'all. I'm looking real raggedy. I didn't even realize that until I looked in the camera. I was like, ooh, dang. Anyway, for me, I started to get more organized by, I bought a large dry erase calendar, and I actually got it from you, Courtney. I started color coding certain things so that I know why it's standing out. Because once everything is all the same color, it just kind of blends in. But like when I started putting colors to like a function, it was like, okay, I got to prioritize this because it's red, or I got to prioritize this because it's green or purple or whatever, however I decided to color code it. I also did the same thing with stickies. So I bought different colors sticky notes, and I'll write something and I'll say, okay, don't put it on the blue sticky note because that's not as high of a priority as a green sticky note or whatever. And then I'll put things in order based on like date. I'm extra crazy with stuff like that, but I love the color coding and the dry erase board. Like those two things really helped me to get more organized, and it also helped me to see like what I've accomplished, because I can go through and say like, okay, I can cross this out, or I can take that down. I'm like, oh dang, you took down 6 green sticky notes. Like you really got through a lot of stuff, you know. So that helped me a lot with organization.
I really love that you shared. I'm going to start with the last part, right? The you really took down 6 sticky notes thing. That's celebrating that small, something that might seem small. You took down 6 sticky notes. That was 6 tasks that you were able to accomplish, and I love that. So even with your self-care routine, you have to celebrate when you do it. So one of the things for me that is self-care is making sure that I'm taking care of my face. Not because it's spa-like or anything like that. I want my skin to be clear, and I had a really hard time when it wasn't, and had to switch so many things up to make sure I got it back to the way I wanted. So self-care for me is disconnecting, making sure that I'm taking care of my skin and really pouring into that part of me. Who else wants to share? What are some things that you do to make sure that you're sticking with your self-care routine and holding yourself accountable? Or who else holds you accountable for your self-care?
I was just going to say that alarms are really, like, because of how quickly the time passes by, like alarms are really important to me because it's like a quick reminder. So like the reminder text that you sent, sorry, the reminder text that you sent let me know what time it was. So I think it's really, the time just flies by way quicker. It seems like, I don't know why, but being at home, it seems like the time flies. And so alarms help me, like even just waking up. Like I'm not a rise with the sun type of person. If my alarm does not go off, I'm going to sleep. I'm going to still be asleep. If my kids don't come in and wake me up, I'm going to still sleep. So alarms are like my number one thing. I appreciated the reminder text.
I love it.
Every time I realized what time it was, I'm like, I missed it again.
I love it. So I'll make sure to add you to my daily list. No, that's so good. Shekinah, you said that's you. Tell us more, Shekinah. I'll add you to the list too, Shekinah. Shekinah, how do you hold yourself accountable to your self-care routine? If you can talk on the mic.
Sorry, I'm also doing homework, so I didn't want you guys to hear my son's schoolwork in the background. But for me, in terms of like self-care, I think the hardest thing for me right now is like my hair. So being natural, I'm so used to like twisting it and then being able to pull out my twist and have a nice little fro. But since I'm not going anywhere, my twist just looks so raggedy. So for me, it's just maintaining that feel of like, get up, wash your hair, twist it up, style it, even if no one is really gonna see it that much, just so therefore it makes it feel like part of my day. Making sure that I stay with my skin routine. This being home like this caused me to like eat more things that I'm not supposed to eat. So my face is like breaking out, very oily, things like that. So just trying to reduce the, not eating well and buying more fruits and stuff. I bought some gym equipment, so hopefully I can get that routine back in. Yeah. So that's pretty much it. Trying to maintain that.
And I'm gonna push like real quick and ask you, what are you gonna do to put your gym routine back in flow? Like, what are the first 2 things that you're gonna do?
So my first thing is, I normally get up around 6:37 before my son and my nephew do. You guys, I'm on the phone. Before they get up, so if I can like prep myself. So instead of like watching TV, I'm gonna take that extra hour to actually do my yoga, jump some rope, lift some weights, do something light. Give me that little bit, that more energy as opposed to just watching the TV for an hour. So that's gonna be my goal for the next couple of weeks.
I love it. Thank you for sharing that, Shekinah. Anyone else? Go ahead, Dina. Oh, you're muted. Go ahead.
Hi, everyone. This is wonderful. Thank you so much for sending me the invitation.
You're
But
welcome.
for me, self-care, I'm not quite sure how to answer that question. For me, it's just really trying to find balance in everything that I do. So part of it is knowing when I do something that I feel good about, to continue to do that. I continue to do it. So if I don't do it one day, and it makes me feel different, then I know that that's something that I should continue to do. So it's really also me learning to show up for myself like I show up for other people in the self-care department. So, I love a plant-based diet, essential oils is what I do. So those things, gardening and just doing things that really make me feel good on a continuous basis. And self-accountability is something that I'm learning to do, because you have to be, true to yourself too, like you said, before you can really kind of help and support other people. So it's really, my self-care is just a balance, just really trying to find a balance and knowing what takes me out of balance.
I really love that you shared that, because that's everything that wellness is about, right? And we've been talking about that over the past 2 weeks or so. And it's really important to know, it goes back to the basic premise, know what works for you and keep doing it. So I really love that.
Thank you.
And Rashawn echoed that, showing up for yourself. It is so important. If you're not going to do it for yourself, who else are you going to do it for? So as we close, just to review one more time, you're doing things you enjoy and doing things that speak to you. You're getting back to the basics and making sure that you're sleeping, eating, and drinking water. You are focusing on the present and maximizing your free time, and then holding yourself accountable. And one way that you can clearly hold yourself accountable is showing up here as many times as you can at 1 o'clock, Monday through Friday. Yes, there you go, Dina. Yes, so we're here 1 o'clock, Monday through Friday, to give ourselves this 20 minutes. Today was about 30, to take this break. So if you've set alarms, set an alarm. If you, one thing that Taylor shared with us, you can make your reminders on your calendar prominent and actually have them ring. And let me tell you, it has been working. Taylor, it's been working. I've been keeping to my skincare routine for that reason. So I will see you all tomorrow at 1 p.m. Same meeting ID, same link, same password. So share it. Tell people about the coffee break. It's super important for us to give ourselves this time in the middle of the day to, one, ground ourselves and know that it is the middle of the day. and 2, to just disconnect from our daily routine. So thank you all for coming and joining. I hope to see you tomorrow.
Thanks, you guys. See you guys tomorrow.
Jay, I'm just seeing it, but I'm gonna send it in an email. So before I sign it off, for those of you who are still here, there's Coping with COVID tomorrow. I'm gonna post it on my Instagram. Flood your inboxes. There's a registration link for that, so I'll make sure to send that info out.